Welcome. So in this lesson, we're going to be going through order of operations and substitution, and this corresponds to exercise 1H. Our learning intentions. Let's give them a read. To understand the rules for order of operations, to be able to evaluate numerical expressions using the order of operations, and to be able to substitute integers for pronumerals in order to evaluate expressions. So what is order of operations? Well, we learnt about this previously last year. It's just BIDMAS. We know what BIDMAS is. It tells us that the very first thing we should do when evaluating an expression is to first focus on B, brackets. Calculate any operations inside brackets. Then I stands for indices. Next, we would calculate any indices working from left to right. The next, and as you can see, I put D and M next to each other because you would calculate divisions and multiplications working from left to right. So one is not superior, or one doesn't take precedence over the other in that regard. And then the last thing you do is addition or subtraction. So calculate any additions and subtractions working left to right. Okay, let's come here now and let's see how this works in action. So if I was given this 5 minus 6 times negative 2, do I do my subtraction first or my multiplication? Well, I do my multiplication first. That's what BIDMAS tells me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this 5 on the outside, and I'm going to say, and I might even get a highlighter here, I'm going to be doing this first. What is negative 6 times negative 2? Well, that's going to be positive 12. That's what we've learnt about what happens when we multiply negatives. So now I've just got 5 plus 12, which is 17, and that's going to be my first answer. We come to our next one. What do we do first? Well, we do what's inside the brackets first. So what do we have inside the brackets? We have 5 minus negative 2. So I'm just going to rewrite this like this, and I'm going to do what's inside the brackets. 5 minus negative 2 is the same thing as, and I might rewrite it, 5 plus 2. Then I would rewrite it again, and 5 plus 2 is 7, so I can do that without the brackets now. And then I would go negative 21 divided by 7 is going to be negative 3. So you see how I'm constantly rewriting what I'm doing. That's a really handy skill in maths, and you'll be constantly doing that. All right, next question. What are we doing here? So we've got 2 times 10 squared divided by 5. What are we going to do first? Well, I'm going to do the indices first. So this square right there. So what is 10 squared? Well, that's going to be 100. So it's going to be 2 times 100 divided by 5. And now that I have both multiplication and division, I just work left to right. So I would first go 2 times 100, which is 200. Then I would divide that by 5, which is going to be 40. And that's my answer there. All right, you might like to pause the video now and try these last questions for yourself, these last 3 questions, and then I'll give them a go too. So pause the video and give it a go. All right, so hopefully you've given it a go. Let's do this. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I've got negative 2 here. I'm just going to rewrite it because I know I'm going to do what's inside the brackets first. So let me just highlight that. I'm going to do what's inside the brackets first. But as you can see, inside the brackets, I have a subtraction and a multiplication. And I'm going to do the multiplication first because remember, multiplication comes before subtraction. So then the question is, well, what is negative 7 times negative 2? Well, that is going to be a positive number, and it's going to be 14. So it's going to be plus 14 there. And then I'm going to go, what is 8 plus 14? That's going to be 22. So I'm going to rewrite this like that. What is negative 2 times 22? That's going to be negative 44. So again, I'm just constantly rewriting it until I get my answer. Let's go into the next one. Again, I know that I'm going to be dealing with what's inside the brackets first. And this one actually might throw us for a bit of a loop. We've got negative 4 times. Now, I'm going to do this division first. So it's going to be 2 minus, now negative 6 divided by 6 is going to be negative 1. And as you can see, I put that in brackets just so we don't get confused between the minus and the negative. Because the next thing we're going to do now is say minus a negative is going to be plussing that. And then I'm going to rewrite this as 3. And then my final answer is going to be negative 12. So you can see there, some of us might get a little tripped on this step right here. So just be careful of that. All right, let's keep on going. Now, here's another tricky thing going on in this one as well. So I'm glad I'm doing this example. We have -2 cubed. Let's just spend a second talking about this. You might just want to make a little note here. What I'm doing here, what this is telling me is -2 times -2 times -2, right? Well, what's -2 times -2? Well, that's going to be +4, right? Because a negative and a negative cancel. 2 times 2 is 4. Then I have to times it by -2 again. So that's going to be -8. And that would be my answer right there, that -8 right there. That's kind of tricky, isn't it? So just be careful when you're going through it, realizing that when you're cubing a negative, your answer is going to be negative. And that's actually true for whenever your power is an odd number and the thing inside of it is negative. So just be careful with that. Think it through, and I'll just leave that working there for us. Okay, so we know this is going to be -8. This is going to be -3, then divided by -3 like that. Now, what's the next thing we're going to do here? I'm not going to do the subtraction. Rather, I'm going to do this right here, which is going to be -3 divided by -3, which is going to be what? Is going to be +1. So +1 to that. So -8 plus 1 is going to be -7. And that's going to be my answer right there. Okay, so hopefully you found all of that useful. If you are wanting some extra practice, I've just put it in some additional practice here. I'm not going to go through them, but I'll just give you the answers. So for this one will be 5. So you might want to provide working if you need to. They're optional. So if you feel that you've got a good grasp, don't feel you need to do these ones. For this one, it will be 14. So the final answer is 14. And then for this one, it's going to be 20. So again, I'm just giving you the answers. Maybe you would like to see if you can get the working to get to that answer. And this is just purely optional. Okay, so with that being said now, I'm going to stop this part of the video and I'm going to go on to part 2 of this video, which is going to be about substitution. So I will see you there.